So good morning, good morning. This is going to be the first of our push workshop series. This push workshop series is going to start today, and then we'll have another one on Wednesday. We'll have another one on next Saturday. Then we have our phone jam that kicks off the push. We have our leave with 10. We'll have a division meeting on the Wednesday, and the push officially begins on the 29th. So this is the first, well, I guess this will be the second. We started our first workshop on Wednesday with the recommendations. This is our next workshop, which is going to be on attack list prep. We want to help you make sure that you are building your attack list and getting your business ready for battle for the Capture the Cup push. And as just a few reminders for you for the push, as far as when the push starts on the 29th, you got a couple things up for grabs. First and foremost, the Capture the Cup push. You got a signature set with steak knives up for grabs. Just so you know, during the summertime when SE2 rolled around, anyone that sold 10K for SE2 push, 10K you got a high five. 10K you got into a raffle for $1,000. 10K was like, we had almost, I don't even know what the number was. There was over 100 people who hit 10K for the push. This is the Capture the Cup push, is the SE2 push of the fall. And the prize is a $2,000 set, a signature set with steak knives and your choice of classic or pearl. That is nuts. Now, I'm not telling you that you need to go for a $10,000 push, but what I am saying is it might be worth thinking about. That's all. It might be worth thinking about. I also want to remind you what else is up for grabs. You got an engraved vegetable knife as the trophy this year, which is so sick. So that way it's actually usable and it's also an exciting trophy. So that's a trophy that you'll have forever. So a top 20 under 150K. So there's 20 individuals that will win this. Maybe that's something that excites you. And lastly, if you've not signed up for the event yet, you want to make sure you go to vectorconnect.com to reserve your spot and sign up so you can reserve your spot for this event. There's the guest speakers, Mike Lanzetta and Jim Stitt. Jim Stitt, the CEO and the president of the company, along with Mike Lanzetta, who is a personal growth coach. If you haven't checked out his episode on the Changing Lives podcast, you should check it out, along with Scott Dennis's episode on the Changing Lives podcast. Check that one out. And then you'll say, oh, damn, okay, I got to be at this event because it's going to help me a ton for my business. All right, so what I want to do is today's topic is going to be getting more appointments, getting more phone numbers, building up that attack list. So I want to revisit some social media marketing techniques that you all know, but we want to make sure that we're doing. We want to make sure we're doing this. And I know I'm going to call on Rochelle in just a moment because I know you did this yesterday where you had a customer do a social media shout out on Facebook. You could even screen share in a moment and show us, just what that looked like. So that way some individuals that are not doing it can see how simple this is. And maybe you could share, what you did yesterday, selling a signature set, getting 10 recommendations, but also getting that social media shout out. So if you're not doing social media marketing, you really want to make that a priority. I'm going to revisit that today. I'm also going to talk about how you can enroll some loved ones and making sure that they're down to help you with your names and numbers for this push. I'm going to discuss a couple of Q tricks and tips, and then we'll do some thought jogging as well. So that's what we're going to go through today. So let's go ahead and start with some social media advertising, some simple reminders for you here. Okay, as far as social media goes, when you are doing your appointment, there's two different types of social media posts you can get. One is a very simple generic post that you can ask your customer to put on their story. It's very simple. In the document that you've all received, and I'll send it out again, in the Phone Jam toolbox has the script. It's also in the recommendation approach. The script is really simple. Who can help out? Rochelle's working really hard towards a scholarship, and every appointment she makes helps her towards her goal. Really simple copy paste, and then you just send a photo. You send this in a direct message to your customer, and you ask them, would you mind just posting that up on your story or on your timeline rather? They post it up on their timeline. You could also do what Jessica Shannon did last year during this push, right around this push. She had a customer put it in a mom group. And this is a Clearwater Facebook mom group. And this ended up working her way up all the way up to over 100 likes and about 50 comments. So if you have a mom that is like a maven or is really connected, you could ask them if they have a mom group that they could post that up to. The more advertising you have your customers do for you on Facebook, the better. Now, you might say, Mike, can I just do advertising on Facebook? You could. I'm not saying don't, but it's way better when someone else is advertising for you. So then it doesn't look like spam. It looks like referrals. It looks like you have fans. You want to look like you have fans. You don't want it to look like you're just spamming everyone else's Facebook. So just something to think about there. So you want to start targeting people. So what I would invite you to do right now is I would make a list of everyone that you haven't had do a Facebook post. Anyone you've done a demo for. I don't care if they bought, they haven't bought. Anyone you have in your life, let's make a list. Who can you target to put up a post on Facebook for you before the push starts? Go ahead. I'll wait. Let's make a list. All the people that you could ask to put up a Facebook post for you. And then I'll go to Rochelle in just a moment to just maybe share some of her tips of what she just did yesterday with her customer. And I'll in the meantime, I'll share the Phone Jam toolbox. In the Zoom chat, in case you guys don't have it. Cool. So Rochelle, coming to you. What any tips or things that I didn't mention? Maybe I'm oversimplifying this, or something that you did yesterday that you could just maybe shed some light on.
Sure. I think the hugest thing is, well, first tip is while you're on Zoom with them, add them on Facebook, because especially with women, they'll have their name if they have a marital name, a maiden name. So if they have a maiden name, it can be a little bit more difficult to find them. So that happened to me yesterday. I was like, oh, perfect. I'll add you on Facebook when we get off. And now I can't find her on Facebook. So now it's, I'm going to call her again to track it down. But that's just a small one. But as far as getting the Facebook post goes, I do it after I ask for recommendations, and we go through everybody. When she like throws in the towel, I'm like, okay, no worries. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for me. Like, you have no idea how helpful you are, and like, you're helping me reach my goals. And I'm like, but guess what is so awesome? So I know that these ones, you already got me a sponsorship, or these all count towards a sponsorship. But they're actually starting to allow, with like the way society is going, everything's online. So now if you put up a Facebook post for me, it actually counts towards a sponsorship too. So anybody that like comments on it, if they say that they're interested, I can add them on, and then they'll count towards my scholarship too. So do you think you could put a Facebook post up for me? So as simple as that.
Cool. Pretty easy. I like that. You could definitely, use that for your appointments. You could use the phraseology there is good. In your actual recommendation approach that you have, that we've gone over in training, and I'll pull that up as well so we have it. So, and I'll share my screen here. And in the recommendation approach, which is right here, when you ask for recommendations, in that approach, there's the actual messages, but in the approach itself, I'll share the actual approach here. It has what to say. So look, you scroll down, Facebook post. Miss Jones, I found a lot of people have more friends on Facebook than they do on their phone. All you have to do is read this. Great, I'll send you a friend request right now. To Rochelle's point, you want to do that right while you're on the Zoom with them. Because if they, once they're off the Zoom, I mean, you're out of sight, you're out of mind. So you want to do it right away. And then you could tag me in the post now that we're friends. Very simple. And then it's like, by the way, if there is a time I'm able to, can I send you some messages? Can I send your friends messages? Cool. This one little phrase now gives you permission to mass message their friends. So that way you don't have to follow up and send this message to them later, because you already got permission. If you get permission with this one little phrase right here on the appointment, is that cool? Yeah, awesome. Now you have permission to message their friends with something like this. Hey, David, this is Micah Brownwoods. I'm friends with Jackie Johnson, and I'm attending blank school as a pre-med student. The company I work for offers pre-med school. My assignment is pretty simple. The product's so calculated, you don't have to get anything. I pay to show it. Right now, I'm a contest where I hit my appointment goal each week. I cover my entire semester. The appointment's fun. It's easy, 6 less an hour. Is there any way possible they'd be available anytime next week? It would really help me out. I look forward to hearing back from you. Because you're using the customer as a reference because you asked them in this one little phrase right here, is it okay if I message some of your friends? Very simple. That one little phrase can open up a bunch of marketing opportunities and a bunch of advertising for you. Now, this also, you could use this for all your mom's friends on Facebook. You could use this for anyone on Facebook. If you're not sending 20 to 50 messages a day right now, you want to start. You want to start. This is very, very simple. Copy paste. This is not instead of phone time. It's just in addition to phone time. Because what happens is you don't get an immediate response. They don't respond to you right away. You'll get like trickles of responses coming back to you. And they'll start coming in, and then you can book up appointments. Now, when you book up appointments through Facebook, a couple things to keep in mind. Number one, I would add a calendar invite. So that way they get a reminder on Google, and that way they'll get an email, okay? Because you don't have their phone number. You might even want to get their phone number. Just a thought. You might even want to get their phone number so that way you can actually call them or text them, but you definitely want to get their email address to email them confirmation and also email them the invite. Now, another thing is when you enter their appointment into queue, there is a way on queue to sync queue with your Google Calendar, so that way they automatically get that calendar invite. Does anybody know? Did anybody know that? Does anybody do that? Alana, you nodding your head? Can you show anybody that doesn't know how to do that? Can you show them how to do that real fast on your queue?
Yeah.
So if everybody wants to pull up your queue, and I'll spotlight Alani, and you could show us how that works.
Okay.
I know I'm kind of
doing this correctly. I hope I'm doing this correctly. Okay, so like on your queue, let me brighten up my screen actually. Okay, so like, don't look at my messages. Okay, so like you have your queue and everything, and then you're gonna like on the side there's your little gear wheel. So you'll click that, and then you're gonna like click. Oh, let me brighten up. Let me lower the brightness really quickly. And then there's this thing called like your import your contacts. It'll be like right underneath it. So it'll say like queue version, save events to calendar, import contacts. If you want to import your contacts, go and do that. But then if you also want to go ahead and click that you can save events to your calendar, you can. And then once you do that, it'll kind of mine kind of looks like this. It has like these little blue lines on them. And that's all my actual like Zoom calls, like all my appointments in my calendar.
And it syncs to your calendar on your phone, right? And then what you could do is you could sync your phone calendar to Google, right? So you could, so if you don't have a Google Calendar, I think that would be a really good idea. So you sync your phone calendar to Google Calendar, and that way, and then you could send them the invite. Is that how that works? Or if you automatically have their email already saved in like, and it's on the Zoom, there's a way to do it. I like I said, if you could, I'm not personally booking up appointments, but there is that way to do it where you could send queue to your phone calendar, to your Google Calendar. So that way they get the email. Why is that important? Because it's going to help you with your firm up. It's going to help you with more appointments. See, when I have, it's actually funny. I had a decline right here. I'll show you. So this was Eric Garcia. It's funny because Eric Garcia, he declined my invite. So I texted him. I said, "Hey, dude, why'd you decline our meeting? Are we not on anymore?" He said, "Well, that's not me." He entered his wrong email address. So somebody random named Eric Garcia got an email, and that dude declined my invite. So that just kind of gives you an idea. The customer will get the Zoom link from your Google Calendar. You see? And if you do this and you set this up the right way, it could essentially it does your reminders for you and allows your customers to get that. So Rochelle asked, do you have to link both calendars? Could it just be the Google Calendar? You should be able to link your, can you link Q to Google Calendar, or do you need to link it to your phone calendar first?
I think it says it'll say like set default calendar. At least that says it on mine. Then I think you can choose whichever one you can do it for.
Got it. So you could set the default. You want to set it to, as long as it goes to Google Calendar, that's the one that's most important. And then you could just sync Google Calendar to your phone. But I have that on mine. And like I said, I can't recall exactly how I set it up, but I do know that everyone gets an email about a calendar invite every time, I have an appointment with them. And it's a great reminder, and it's an easy way for you to get more appointments, especially when you're booking them up through Facebook, because you're not talking to them on the phone. One other thing I would do for Facebook is send them a voice memo. So after you book them up on Facebook, you send them a voice memo that says, and by the way, thank you so much for booking up this appointment with me. You have no idea how much this helps me out. And you do that right on Facebook Messenger. So right on Facebook Messenger, I'll show you, it's really simple, just in case you've never used Facebook Messenger. So say if you click on a person, this little microphone next to right there, the little microphone, you click that and you click record. You click record and it'll send them a voice note. Now you can directly call from Facebook Messenger, or you could do a video for Facebook Messenger too. But I mean, it's just, if you're friends with someone, it's just like having their phone number. It's pretty incredible.
I just have a quick question about the Google Calendars and everything.
Sure.
Do I have to download the Google Calendars app?
Because I don't even think I have the Google Calendar app. I think it just syncs.
Okay, because I didn't even realize it was connected to my calendar, but yeah, it looks like it's already connected to the one that's already on my phone.
So then there should be an option in your settings, or you could go to Google Calendar online. There would be a way. You might even want to Google how do I sync my phone calendar to Google Calendar. I know there's a way to do it. I would just Google exactly how to.
Okay.
And it's probably really simple. It's a couple of clicks or a couple of settings, but I think it'd be a great idea to do. Great question. So that's one simple hack that I would do that can help you get more appointments, because it's going to help you complete more appointments. It's also going to help you get more appointments with using Facebook. As far as Q itself, there's a lot of really cool hacks on Q that most of you know, but some of you, it might be a good refresher for you. So I want to just introduce you or reintroduce you to a couple of these simple hacks on Q. So let me pull up the slides. While I'm pulling up the slides, go ahead and pull up your Q. And these are a couple simple things that you already probably know, but we want to make sure that you're doing to help you get more appointments. Okay. So as far as Q, these are from training. So the first one, when you click on Brainstorm right here, and you have a list right here on Brainstorm, if this number right here, like if you have not imported your contacts yet, you must go import your contacts ASAP. I just did this with someone recently that they were been with me for a while. Actually, was that you, Rochelle? That was Rochelle. So we just went through this and we did this recently, and all of a sudden she's like, oh, I didn't know I had a lot of contacts in here. And it went from like, I don't even know. I don't remember the numbers, but it was some extra.
It went 120 to like 230.
So she got like an extra 110 contacts that she didn't have originally, something like that. So what you're going to do is, if you didn't do it, you click import contacts, and everyone that's under 30, just click friend. Everyone who's over 30, click customer. And if it's neither, like Domino's Pizza, you click neither. But what's going to happen is everyone that's a customer, at least now they're in your queue. So what does that mean? If they're a customer, that just means someone you could do an appointment for. Even if you've done an appointment with them, keep them in there. Put them in your queue, because you can then reach out to them and ask them for more phone numbers. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Then you have friends. Everyone who's a friend who's under 30, you could reach out to them and ask them for their mom's number using a simple text. So if you didn't know this, the text feature on Q is incredible. You just click the little message icon and then boom, you automatically send this text. Now, Rochelle, I know I'm putting you on the spot. Did anybody, I know you only sent it to 3 people. Did any of those 3 people respond? I know we just did this the other day, but.
Yes, I got one of my friends that I've been friends with since high school said he was going to talk to his mom.
So you got a response that you'll talk to his mom.
Yeah.
So you sent this and then his response was, I'll talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So, you know, and if they're in the training manual, there's a response to that. So if he says, I'll talk to her, then there's a response to that in the training manual, which is like, you know, that's awesome. Thank you so much for talking to her. I could also give her a call and introduce myself as well. What's her phone number? And it's just like an ask again, something like that. So, but you know, it's very simple. You just click the little message and send it. I would send that to his, I mean, I'm not saying only send it to 3, but I am saying like, if you just did 3 a day, you'll start seeing like, you'll get responses. Go for it. Okay. So that's with that. The other one here is as you add your contacts. So all of you should be adding your contacts, your referrals into Q consistently. There's this little star that you put next to them, which stars your best bets. So that way, when you go to queue up your people to call, you know which ones your best bets are because they have little stars next to their names. So it allows you to organize your best bets in queue by using the star feature, by using that little star feature right here. I also think it's a good idea for the tags. There's a tag feature where you tag your customer. There's also the notes, but there's a tag feature where you can tag your customer. You could click more, and then you can tag your customer in as like time zone, Western time zone or Eastern time zone or Central time zone. So that way you can sort them by when you want to call them. You could also sort them by, you know, anything you want. If they already own Cutco, you could tag them as Cutco owner. But using the tags can also organize your queue so that way you're calling your best bets first. So those are just some simple queue hacks, things you probably already know. And lastly, again, you probably already know this and you want to do it, is you want to actually queue up your best like 20 people as you go through it. So you want to click in order and then click the button to start. So that way you're not using the direct dial pad or you're not queuing up like 5 at a time. Ideally, you're queuing up 30 or 40 at a time. And that way you could be really efficient with your calls. You want to be really efficient with your calls. So that way you click call, boom, you click book up the appointment, and then, you know, get to the next one. Now the text feature to call, if they don't answer, that's always a good one too. If you haven't used that little text there to the customer, that's always a good one after you've called them 3 or 4 or 5 times. Maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times and they haven't answered, use that little text feature on Q. Real simple stuff. Probably already know this. You're probably already doing this, but if you're not, some simple, healthy reminders for you. The next thing I would suggest, okay, is making a list of people that you're really close with. These are people that you maybe like mom, anybody you say I love you to. Think about anyone you have in your life that you say I love you to. Making a list of those people that are like Mac customers and setting up an appointment with them, not to do a demo, but to do an appointment with them to ask them for more phone numbers. And this conversation looks like this. You know, hey, Aunt Jane, I wanted to set up a time where we can catch up. I have something really important I wanted to talk to you about. Can we set up a time where we could just hop on Zoom and just have a conversation, or I could come by the house? Right? I'll bring over a Starbucks. It's a really important favor. And Aunt Sue is going to be like, oh my gosh, is everything okay? It's like, yeah, everything's fine. It's just something I wanted to make sure that I have your undivided attention on. It's really important. I could use some help. Let's just set up a time for it. Right? And that in itself creates suspense. So it creates some suspense. Then when you get to the appointment, you sit down and you build rapport. It's like, how's everything going? She's like, forget about that. What's going on? What do you need, sweetie? Right? It's like, well, you know, and then you share your goals. Okay? You share your goals and you go through the steps of goal sharing that you've learned in training. The steps of goal sharing. What are the steps of goal sharing? I'll pull it up on the screen to capture it. Ask for permission, share with enthusiasm, be vulnerable, inspire with your commitment, remove the pressure, and set the positive expectation for referrals. So you say, she says, what do you need? Well, it's like, Auntie, is it okay if I just share with you like what I need right now and right now? She's like, of course, tell me, what do you need? Okay. So as you know, I'm saving up money to do all these cool things. I don't want to borrow money from mom anymore. I want to really be independent, and it's really important for me to do so. And I'm saving up I want to run my own business next summer, and I have a chance to running my own office. I have a chance of getting a grant, like a scholarship grant from the company that I'm in big competition to get. And there's this huge competition that starts in 2 weeks called the Capture the Cup Push. It's the Fall Classics. It's a big event. It's a big opportunity for me to just separate myself from the peers and prove my worthiness to try to earn this grant and the scholarship. And I really want to get it because it's up to like $5,000 that I can get. And I'm really excited about that. Be vulnerable. But Auntie, I'm a little bit nervous. And the reason why I'm nervous is because I'm calling a lot of people, and I have a lot of referrals and a lot of recommendations, and I sit down and I call these people a lot, but sometimes people just aren't answering their phone because they don't recognize my phone number, or they don't recognize who I am because I'm just a friend of a friend of a friend. But I'm working through it. Like, I'm going to work so hard. Like, I'm going to call everyone. I'll call everyone 5 or 7 times, 8 times, 10 times, whatever I need to do to hit my goal. I'm going to be waking up very early in the day to send out messages on Facebook. I'm going to make a lot of calls, and I'm going to hit this goal. And I don't want you to feel obligated to have to help me here, because I'm going to do it with or without the help of anybody in the family. However, I would really love if you would sit down with me right now, if we could go through your cell phone A through Z and just write down everyone that I could introduce myself to. Not people they're going to buy, just people who might possibly be willing to let me just introduce myself to them. And I could just tell them, hey, my aunt said you were nice and you might be able to help me out with something I'm working on. They could feel free to say no, but it will help me out a ton if we could just go A through Z, and you could just go through your cell phone while we're on Zoom right now and just list them off for me. Or you could just share the contacts with me right through text message, and you could do it with me right now. And I'll tell you what, I'm not above bribery, Auntie. For every 10, I'll give you, $20 in free Cutco. So if you can get me 50 numbers, that would be $50 in free Cutco, or $100 in free Cutco. Now, here's a hack. If they already bought Cutco from you, you can call Cutco customer service, give them the customer name, and say, I totally goofed when they bought Cutco from me. When they bought Cutco from me originally, customer service, I goofed. I told them I was going to send them an ice cream scoop, and I didn't. Is there any way you can add an ice cream scoop to their order and just bonus it and send it to them now? And they'll just deduct points from your future CPO and mail that customer like an ice cream scoop. Now, as long as they're a customer on record. Just a thought for you. All right, let me come up for some air for just a moment. So just to recap, this conversation with your loved ones, you have this conversation with 5 Mac customers that you say I love you to. I got to lead to believe that you're going to generate an extra blank number of phone numbers, but it's going to be in the double digits if you do it the way I just showed you. I would rewatch this recording and have that conversation with them. Okay. Very simple on how to enroll your loved ones. The next is in the Phone Jam toolbox is this getting more appointments document. So getting more appointments document, there's a rec approach in here. It's a Facebook post example, but this getting more appointments document has a lot of other really great tools for you, such as a sticky note approach. Putting this on some of your neighbors' doors. You want to handwrite this because if it's handwritten, it's more personal. We tested with the typed out, but it just looks like soliciting versus it looks more personal when it's handwritten. The email to past teachers. Go through all your professors, all your teachers, and send this email. Pretty simple. It doesn't take much. This is the message to your friends from Q. that you can ask them for their parents, but then you could also use the same message on Instagram or Snapchat. Easy, copy paste. We had someone during, who was that? Nick Franklin. He did this during SC2 Push, sent this message out to his friends on Instagram, and he was just he had 1 week where he had 40 appointments in a week just from friends, parents from Instagram. Then you have the Facebook stuff. Now this is the text to your recommendations that can help you get some appointments. So this is the text directs from the customer. This is the text directs the customer sends this is the text that you send to the rec. So this is the text that you have your customer send to the rec, and this is the text that you send to the rec. So if you have, say your aunt gives you 12 people, you can send those 12 people this text as long as your aunt sends this heads up text. If you send this text without them sending this, it's not effective. You must have the customer send this text message before you send this text message. That's the 1-2 punch. So those are a couple of simple ways for you to add more appointments. So you got the texting recs, the customer texted them, you text them. You got the Facebook we already talked about. You got messaging your friends for their numbers. You got the email your teachers. You got a sticky note approach. And then, of course, there's the enrolling of your family, which I kind of went through a similar conversation as this. And then there's all these thought joggers. You know, I mean, we go through this in training with you, but maybe revisit that list. You know, maybe revisit that list. I mean, who'd your parents buy their house from? You might say, oh my God, that was 15 years ago. Yeah, but have you seen that person? Who, you know, like how willing are you to go through and find people that you could do appointments for? It's an insatiable hunger for appointments. Why? Because all you're asking for is a little bit of their time. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You still don't have the appointment? Don't let resourcefulness get in the way of you and your push, because it's nothing to do with resources. So those are a couple of tips and tricks to help you build your list and get more just get more appointments before the push. So what did we go through? We went through all the different toolbox tips on asking for all those phone numbers. We went through social media. We went through how to enroll loved ones. We went through some queue stuff, syncing up with the calendar, and just a few thought joggers there. So let's go ahead and what are some takeaways or questions that you might have that I either didn't answer or things that you're like, I needed to hear that and I'm going to take some action on those things. And then we'll wrap up with some phone time. What showed up?
I really liked going back into queue and checking out those contacts from like import contacts and stuff like that, because I didn't even realize that some of the contacts, like my recommendations, I guess they got filtered into the friends section. I don't know how, but now I just added like 20 more people to my call list. So
amazing. Hey, and those 20 extra people or whatever, I mean, think about how many recommendations they give you. Think about how many sales it comes from that. I mean, that's all it is. It's just a numbers game. Couple here, couple there. You get a couple from Facebook. You get a couple from your teachers. You get a couple from your friends. You get a couple from the sticky notes. Like, it's all marketing. It's advertising. Some things will stick. Some things won't. But if you just continue to put out the layers out there, something's going to generate appointments, and then you get referrals. And that's why you got to have that recommendation approach ready and wired so you can turn those appointments into 10 or 20 more recommendations. But you do all the marketing, and then you get the word of mouth going. Do the marketing, get the word of mouth going. And you do both together simultaneously. It's not either or.
How can we get more recommendations in this in the demo? Like, I've kind of had some bad luck with trying to get recommendations where I had like 2.
Well, there's no such thing as bad luck, Darren. Ask me for recommendations right now. Let me hear your rec approach.
So I have a recommendations list that I need to fill up. And for every 10 recommendations that you can provide me, that will make you a sponsor. And when I get to 50, I get $150 towards my scholarship. So I was wondering if maybe you could run through your contact list really quickly now that I have you here and see who you can pull up, friends, family, people that you know that would be nice enough to watch this demo and help me out with my journey to getting my scholarship for school.
Cool. So Darren, how close from a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not even close at all, 10 being identical, how close is that to what you do on your actual appointments?
It's like pretty close, like maybe around like 7 to 8.
So what's different between what you just did right now and what you did for what you typically do on your appointments?
Well, before I kind of had like a bit of a struggle with my computer. So I wasn't able to have like direct conversations with the audio from my computer. So I had to use my phone to speak with them. And so that kind of created a bit of a barrier where I wasn't able to be in direct.
No, I'm just talking about the words.
Oh, just the words?
Yeah.
It's more just like I'm kind of like learning a little bit more still as I go along with it, because before it was kind of a bit difficult to not really difficult to propose the question.
Okay. You're
But
still not answering the question, buddy. I'm just going to interrupt you just for time's sake. Darren, who's your manager?
Eddie.
Okay. You and Eddie need to have a conversation about you memorizing your recommendation approach. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not your manager, but if I were, I wouldn't let you do another demo until you have this memorized.
All right.
Okay. So this rec approach right here, you got to have this down. There's no such thing as bad luck. I'll let you know on a couple of things. The first thing is you replace this word might with the word would, and this is recorded so you can revisit. Just give me people that would be nice enough to help me out. That puts too much pressure on your customer to think of definites. You don't want definites, you want possibilities. This one word that's bolded and emphasized right here invites possibility versus replacing that one word with the word would invites definite, and that puts too much pressure on your customer to think of definites. So therefore they're going to say, I need to think about it, or I got to ask them first. Okay, that's number one. Number two, this line right here might be one of the most important lines of the entire presentation and was missed. I get paid every time I show Cutco, and I can only call people I've been personally recommended to. So if you watch the recording of this, you missed that one line. It's very important. Okay. This right here, the very and really, this creates urgency and importance, so it makes them want to listen to you. And then this right here at the top gets them to a yes frame of mind. So you get them into a yes frame of mind. Then you explain how important it is and how urgent it is for you to do it now. Hey, did you like my demo? Yeah, you liked it? Yes. Do you remember the sponsorship I mentioned in the beginning? Yes. Yes, yes. There's one more very important part, urgent. Here's where you can really help me out. Important. I get paid every time I show Cutco, and I can only call people I'm recommended to. Then you land the joke. So I just need you to jot down, help me jot down 200 to 300 people. I'm just kidding, Ms. Jones. Just 10 to 20 that might be nice enough to help me out. Not necessarily people looking to buy, just people nice like you to take a look. And right here, build up the sponsorship, get them fired up about what the sponsorship does for you. You kind of did that. You did all right there. You just did it out of order. And then you put them into action. So I have the sheet open right here. Let's go ahead. Most people just go through their contacts. We'll start with the names, come back to the numbers. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Now, until you have this down, I would never say bad luck again, because it's nothing to do with bad luck. It's bad choices. The choice to not follow that formula of the recommendation approach, that choice is what's bringing bad results. It has nothing to do with bad luck. Success is a choice, my friend, and you got to choose to get that memorized. Okay, buddy? So not sure if that helps or if that was a little too harsh. Hopefully you're okay with me being direct with you, but it's going to get you better. And that's going to help you get more recommendations. When you can nail your rec approach the way I just went through, you will get recommendations on every single appointment. There's no doubt. Now, how many you get is going to be determined on whether or not you follow these simple principles and the simple outline that we just went through. Do you remember? Get a yes. Very rarely might. Land the joke. Show social proof. Get excited about the sponsorship. Put them into action. And there's tons of workshops on this on our YouTube you could watch. Cool. Anyone else? Any questions or takeaways before we go into some action where I'd like for you to send some text messages or send some Facebook messages or make some phone calls so that way this workshop puts you right into activity. Any other takeaways or questions that I could support you with?
I had a question for the Facebooks, just because I've been like doing demos where sometimes I'll like ask them for the Facebook post, but then they either respond with like their Facebook is inactive or they just don't have Facebook. So like, how do you transition off of that?
If they don't have Facebook, there's nothing you can do. They're an oddity if they are a Mac customer not on Facebook. However, I know some people, even my wife decided to leave Facebook because of all the, the stuff that's happening with, you literally post one thing and then, trolls come out of nowhere to like give their opinion. All of a sudden they're experts on whatever it is that you posted. So she just didn't want anything to do with it anymore. But I mean, there's still over 1 billion people on Facebook. So there's a very good chance that they're going to have Facebook. If they don't, no big deal.
Yeah, so I was just wondering where or when you'll be sending this recording into one of the chats so that I can like go back and take a look at all the different things. But one of the biggest takeaways I really liked was seeing how to get loved ones in on the act. Sure. And like really making it important to have them like help you out.
Yeah, there's a process there, right? It's not just like, hey, mom, give me your phone, right? There's a whole process where you want to create the suspense, right? By setting up the appointment and explaining that it's a very important favor. You create urgency with it. You get vulnerable. You share your goals, right? It's a process. It's just like asking someone out on a date. You got to play the game, right? You know the game. There's a game. I know we don't want to say, we always say it's like, oh, I hate games. No. There's a game and you got to play the game, right? Because if you just say exactly what you want to say, it's not going to be received if you don't set the stage. You got to set the stage. You got to play the game. It's the same concept, right? So it's a great point. Yeah, I'll answer your question right after this. So as soon as I end this, it's going to go to my computer. I'll upload it to YouTube and I'll post a link. Anything else? Any other questions or comments to capture on here?
I had a takeaway. Kind of going with what Leah had said, like also building up rapport with the people that like the people that you love and everything, like you do the meeting with them. It's like, even though like you already know them, it's like, it's still, you want to build that rapport still. And it's kind of like the same concept even with like your customers, like, cause it made me think about literally during this entire time, like I have a customer that's been like texting me. She's like, yeah. And like, she like sent me a friend request. And like, she's adding me to like this whole group that she already has and everything like that. So it's like, and then I've had customers in the past, like I had one lady, literally, she was like, oh my God, I just used my walk-in cover for Brussels and I've been loving it. And I was like, okay. But it's like, if you build that rapport still, it's like, it's the same concept, like getting them to help you out in the end. So I liked that.
Excellent. Simple. I mean, these are simple reminders, but the question that we have to ask is like, it's so simple to do that it's also simple to forget. And that's why these workshops are really helpful. So the more you attend these workshops, the more you show up, the more you're going to get reminded of things, the more it's going to help you with your business. So I really just want to commend all of you for showing up this morning. I would say me personally, for me to run a workshop for 4 people, I'm like, it's insane that we didn't get more people on here, but hopefully we got the recording out. It's going to help people. And do yourself a favor. Just please do, not even yourself. You did yourself a favor by being here. Do the division a favor. That it's like, share your light bulb. Be like, dude, don't be stupid. Show up for workshops. Like, what else is more valuable than, what was this, 50 minutes? What's more valuable than 50 minutes to learn how to create more appointments to do the job that you're going to do anyway? Now, don't get me wrong. Hey, people might have a conflict, but I don't know. I don't know what it is, but please spread the word. Next work, we have the workshops, the daily workshops, 9 a.m. But just remember, we have these workshops coming up for the push specific. So Wednesday night is the next one. So really look forward to it. That's going to be during the team meeting. So look forward to that. Make sure you're present there. And then we have the next push workshop is going to be next week on Saturday morning. And then we have the following one is going to be the division meeting. There's going to be all these different talks that are going to be at that meeting. So I'll pull up the calendar one more time just so you could see right here. So we got the push workshop, the tack list right now, and then there's going to be objections on Wednesday. Then there's going to be how to make sure you have over 10 appointments booked for the push next Saturday. Then there's going to be the Head Start phone jam on the 27th. So that way you could leave with 10. So it's like an arrive with 5, leave with 10. We're going to have a full out division meeting from 5 to 6:45, different speakers on the agenda. And that way, when the push begins, that's when the alliance workshops begin, 4 to 5 p.m. every day, except Saturday is going to be 9 to 10, just like this. So 4 to 5 p.m. every Monday through Friday, and then 9 to 10 a.m. on Saturday. And then we go into, we have the push. On the 4th, by the way, we have the success cycle workshop with the Tony Robbins staff member. I got him coming out to speak. I believe most offices are going to be hopping onto that. That's going to be exceptional. And then we have the Fall Classic on the 14th. From noon to 6. Get ready for that. And we're going to have some phone order jams in here and these workshops are going to show you how to generate some holiday gifts. We're going to have a bunch of holiday gifting workshops, business gifting workshops. So this push is going to be awesome. So really look forward to it. So have a great rest of your day. I'll stop the recording there.